Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Marvel Spider-Man Spectacular Difficulty video walkthrough. This is the finale of the campaign, and it is called Pax in Bello, which is Latin for peace in war, which I think is really cool, and pretty much shows of the culture and the grace and intelligence of the privileged doctor and his expensive education. I, of course, had no idea what it meant because I googled it. But there you go. I can appear more cultured than I am. So, the final boss in this game is really simple. All you have to do is web his limbs, and then press triangle and beat him up, and then repeat. Occasionally dodge a few things, and then you go to a tower phase where you have to swing around the tower and then throw debris at him. And then you repeat that a few times and you've won. The interesting thing about this sequence coming up is that on my first run-through of the game, I only had to do the tower sequence once because I think I'd either damaged him so much that I didn't need to do it anymore, or the game glitched. So, dodge his attacks, he telegraphs them really well, he does a jump like that, he does a single thrusting arm, he does a sweep that has a context-sensitive dodge that looks really cool, but I didn't get it in this fight, and then he has the double arm slam. Everything else will involve him throwing debris at you that can be dodged by flying away. And what I like to do is, when I go in and do the full combo, it leaves you outside in the sky. Feel free to chuck a bunch of shit at the boss and then fly away, then start swinging around, and then reset and do the same thing. So dodge his move, web him up, go into the combo, try and get the critical hits, use the focus bar if you want to, or keep it for the damage, it's up to you. And then when you fly off him, hit him with a bunch of shit, and now he's going to the tower phase. So in this phase, all you need to do is swing away, and then when the boss starts throwing debris at you, throw it back at him, and then there'll be a triangle prompt. But always dodge after you throw the debris, because you might get hit by a second piece of debris. It's happened to me a few times. But now that you sit down, you repeat what you've just done. There's the thrust, dodge the thrust, web him up again. Feel free to use the resupply if you need it to get all your juice back so you can continue to web him. Dodge accordingly. There's the jump, dodge it accordingly. Press triangle, go into your bread and butter combo, kick him in the tits, do the execution, whatever you want to do. And then it'll either transition back to the tower again or you'll have to dodge a few more moves. And that's pretty much it, guys. The one thing to bear in mind here is there's no checkpoint. But there doesn't need to be because this is perfectly acceptable. This game has been very generous with the checkpoints, so much so, it makes some of the fights a little bit easier than they could have been. But I'd rather have it that way than be telling you how shit the checkpoint is. Because bad checkpoints are something that really leave a sour taste, whereas I feel like this boss could have been harder just by the mechanics of it being a bit more interesting. But I think the same about every boss in this game. You know, when you really look at them on a fundamental level, they're pretty simple. But it's not a problem because it's so much fun to play as Spider-Man, and I think that's where Insomniac really nailed this game. Everything else doesn't have to be too complex because the fundamental base is solid. And if you've got a really fun base, just doing the most sundry of activities is still really good. But then if you make the player do something cool, it's twice as good, right? It's just gravy at that point. But here is the transition from the tower phase into the interactive cutscene phase. And on this part, we're going to be punching the Doctor repeatedly in the face. And it really couldn't be simpler. All you have to do is tap square until you see the boss do something, and then you press circle to dodge it, and then you keep tapping square. And I think that this section looks fantastic, sounds amazing, and really gets, you know, the chills going up your spine. But it's really simple and could have been a lot more interesting. And I'm also really hoping that in the sequel or the DLC, that they go whole hog on these sections and make them much more interactive so that you have to dodge interesting stuff and you have to pay attention rather than just mashing. Because you'll notice he does the same 2 kicks into capoeira kick, into jump off the boss, and that's all he does. And it still feels epic because of the sparks and because of the music and because it means a lot. There's a lot of emotional resonance in this section. But if there was just a little bit more to it, maybe 1 or 2 different animations, I feel like it would have really knocked it out of the park. And it still looks awesome. Just watching it again now, you really feel the for that scene. It's just the stickler in me wishing for it was a little bit more diverse. But that is technically the end of the walkthrough, guys. There's 2 bonus videos coming up against the Taskmaster and Tombstone, so look forward to those. But that's the end of it. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next set of videos that I do for Spider-Man when the new difficulty comes out. They will only include combat and stealth. They will not include any of the other characters. It will be Spider-Man only, and I will not be using upgrades. So it'll be hopefully even more insane than this run was, and I hope you look forward to it. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.